There was a young bloke killed in the streets of Melbourne a few years ago. He saw a woman being attacked after an all-night nightclub had closed, and there was a biker or some sort of criminal who was beating this woman, and he went to her rescue, and he was killed. Now, that instinct in young men is very strong. They want to be decent men. They want to look after the weak. That is what a man is supposed to do. You don't make a man a good man by saying you must become a metrosexual, reject your masculinity, reject your strength. No. You've got to use all of your human gifts for decency and for purpose in your own life and in the lives of the people that you affect. It's fascinating. So I have become a bit pro-woman in my researches on Christianity, because it seems to me that over 2,000 years, women have just done a bit better than blokes. It's clear that amongst the early Christians, there are a lot more women than men, and the women were more heroic than men.
Interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were the ones at the cross.
Absolutely, at the foot of the cross. The only man was John, but there was a big group of women. The men were missing in action, and
they ran away.
And the women were there. And when Christ rises, he chooses to reveal himself first to a woman, Mary Magdalene. But really, of course, all human beings are called to holiness and goodness. But what is very interesting, I offer that as a prologue to your reflection on our contemporary circumstance. This current resurgence we're seeing is attracting men and women, but it is attracting more men than women. That's extraordinary. We haven't come across that before, but it shows you history is not governed by the common law. It's not governed by precedent. And young men are responding to the messages they're getting from all kinds of mainstream Christian people. I don't want to verbal him, but Kanishka Raphael, the Sydney Anglican Archbishop, tells me that the green shoots and the new shoots and the new life is evident in the Sydney Anglicans. You certainly see it at the Pentecostals. The Catholic Archbishop of Sydney, Anthony Fisher, he's presiding over more people, more young men in his seminary, so that the average age of priests, you think all the priests are old guys, they're all going to die off. The average age of the Sydney Catholic priest is declining as young people come in and recover. Church attendance across the denominations has risen sharply. And it is such a big phenomenon. It is certainly happening amongst intellectuals that you and I know, like Neil Ferguson, have embraced fully Christian belief. They've got off the fence. They're not sort of Christian agnostics anymore. They're Christian believers. And, but it is also happening amongst large numbers of people because it's reflecting statistically. So Pew reports, how many people in the United States identify as Christians, and it had been in the same slow sectoral decline as other Western societies, but starting from a higher base. That decline has stopped. All of a sudden, that's stopped. There was a YouGov poll in Britain, very deep systematic poll, which a few years ago found that, I think this is right, amongst 18 to 24-year-olds, 4% went to church every week. Within a few years, that had become 16 or 18%. That's still a minority, but that's a 400% increase.